you know, my grandma and we used to go and we would come out and she'd be like, okay, we gotta weed the garden. And I don't know, I was like 5 years old or something like that. And we'd go weed the garden and she'd give me a plot like this, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And she'd be done, and she had a plot like this too, and she'd be done in like 5 minutes. And I think I still have the same pace that I had when I was a 5-year-old as I do now in my 40s. I never picked up the pace on weeding.
Never figured out how to get faster.
Oh my gosh. And and you know, like, the thing is, this is all my fault because I'm like, oh, I'll just wait until tomorrow, or I'll weed a little bit and then I'll be like, oh, I'll just do a little more tomorrow, a little more tomorrow, a little more tomorrow. Well, today came along and no one is getting away with anything. I'm getting these tap roots so hard, getting them all out, and no one's going anywhere. You know?
Yeah.
Like, and then
Nobody's getting off the hook.
No one's getting off the hook. And you know, it's like one of those moods that I get in, you know, when like the kids know mom's not playing today. Mom's not in the mood. So these weeds better recognize who's the boss. And there would be like, you know, like a row of weeds like this, and I'd be pulling one and it's a hard one, you know, it's like, oh, it'd break off, and then I dig down for the tap root, and then I pull it out, and then the rest of the weeds like soften up. Like as if they like watch me struggle with one weed.
They're like that dude.
They're like
hard. He couldn't.
I'm like, she's not playing today. She's not playing around today.
If I give her a little resistance, she's still gonna come after me.
So I better just give up. No telling what next week would look like, you know? Did I really do a good job on those tap roots or what? That's how it's been feeling for the last like 3 hours.
I think they don't take me very serious.
Yeah, get after them. Don't fool around. See, like this one broke off. I went down, pulled the tap root. The rest should be easy. They saw what I'm capable of.
It's neighbors.
Neighbors, all of its friends. They quickly talk to each other.
Pull all these weeds around my plants so that you don't come in here and start teaching them lessons too. Then I gotta start the garden all over.
Remember the one time where you're like, hey, what happened to those 12 cucumber plants I planted? I'm like, where did you plant them? And I'm like, wait a minute, I think I pulled them out. And you're like, what?
Yep.
What do you mean you pulled them out? And I'm like, well, I thought they were weeds. And you're like, can you not tell the difference between a cucumber plant and a weed? And apparently I was in the mood like I am today. Everyone's in trouble. No one's getting away with anything. But that year we planted cucumbers twice because, you know, I pulled the first ones out. And they still did really good. This year we put in mature plants and they're not doing anything.
Yeah, look at these cukes. So we bought them new, bought them potted and started, and they had all this growth to them that just wilted up and went bad. But then it's got new good starts and some good starts here all around it. So the root base was good. It just couldn't support the growth that it already had to begin with, I guess. I don't know. It's strange.
I think you planted these cabbage plants perfectly in line with my booty, because I'm able to sit here in the middle of them and weed my little heart out. So good job.
That was my measurement.
Yeah, you're like, how?
Like, let's see. 1.2 booties apart. There's just enough room to not get squashed. But I'm done exposing all the plants, so you shouldn't be tearing anything out now. As long as you don't touch my tomatillos.
Oh no, I've been really good with them. You know what? They're the prettiest. I would put these as a decorative plant.
They're pretty. Yeah.
Look at the little lanterns that they got.
Yeah.
They're just really pretty. They got a pretty flower. I like how you put the cabbage plant like here, and it's like a solid 16 feet away from the cabbage.
16 feet.
Yeah, it's just so far instead of like right here. It's like you do like with the water line, you know, you put the tape and then like don't hit the water line. Is this for me?
Yes. That's to let you know that in the general vicinity there's a cabbage. Don't pull it.
Oh crap, look, I almost pulled that one.
See? See the way that the markings work for like blue stakes, right? It's you mark the line and then it's 2 feet on either side. Don't touch it.
Don't touch it.
Don't touch it. From 2 feet on either side.
And look at your measurements.
So that's what this is. This is your blue stakes tag. So don't touch the plant within 2 feet of that tag.
And like I was telling you, look how your perfect measurements.
Yeah, it's just right.
It is. It's just right. Booty and a half.
Yeah.
Not just any booty, your wife's booty.
Yep.
They come out here and weed her little heart out.
Just right for you. It's just crazy how many volunteers we had come up, and they're doing better than the stuff that we transplanted.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Than the stuff that was already started.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the answer.
Maybe we just gotta quit.
We'll just till the garden and let everything volunteer and come up, and we'll just call it a garden.
Call it a garden. Here's our garden.
Just water it and
see what comes up.
Come through and weed it. And anytime we see a volunteer tomato plant, put a blue stakes tag down. Leave that one.
Right? Save us so much more money.
Yeah, the heck with buying starts. Just let the volunteers come in. I got about 6 more feet of the bean line that I needed to fill in between. And I'm all out of bean seeds for now, so instead we got probably 3, I think I got 3 spots, maybe 4 spots. And a really kind viewer sent us some seeds earlier this year. And in that was some pumpkin seeds, so I'm gonna insert those in between the beans and we'll let them climb up over the arch top and check out these really cool pumpkin seeds that he sent us.
Is this just giving a tunnel for the cows? Like, come here and stay here.
I hope not.
Is that a tomato plant?
Mm-hmm.
That's the one that volunteered.
Yeah.
We did not plant that one.
Yep. And it's doing great, so I'm gonna get it prepared and propped up.
How many cabbages have we lost?
I think total 4.
4?
Yeah.
It's not horrible.
Yeah, I think just 4. which just means, what, like 8 less quarts of sauerkraut? Something like that.
Yeah. I was weeding, but there's a big cow pie right there, so I wasn't going to weed over there. But everything else looks like we got it cleaned up. We had to get these panels up because our green beans are starting to take off. And if we didn't get these panels up, it was probably going to get too late, and they were going to go on the hillside and all over. And yeah, last year we had them like that, and they were just a mess.
Last year we tried, we didn't have time and we didn't have the panels, so last year we tried just some T-posts and some wire, and all that happened is the growth got heavy and it just pulled the T-posts over.
Yep.
The wire sagged like strings and stuff, so. Yeah.
But we soaked this, we did like a soaking flood irrigation yesterday, so everything got a good nice big drink, and then it looks like we have maybe a storm coming, which is wonderful. I always love a good storm. But yeah, this is our middle garden bed, and it's actually doing really good considering. We didn't necessarily weed the hillside because it's kind of keeping all the dirt together, but everything is doing well. Our beans are up, our tomatoes are up, our tomatillos.
Look at all those tomatillos.
They're so pretty.
They're a really pretty plant.
They're a very pretty plant, and I just love how they turn out. Our cabbages are fine, other than we had to share with the cows. And then our beets are actually starting to bounce back just fine after a good soak-in. You can see some new growth coming in versus the bigger ones. And those are also tomatillos, so we're gonna keep them.
Those are volunteer.
Yeah, we're gonna just keep them. And then our onions, they got trumped up pretty good, but they bounced back as well. And our potatoes are fine. I do like the way you put the garden beds this time. I like the way that works. So you can, yeah, so the onions, they're fine. They're not, they're fine. That's how I'm going to say it. They're just fine. And the potatoes finally sprouted. The very end, it hasn't really, but they're starting to come in.
I was surprised at how fast the beets bounded back. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, they were right down to 2-3 inches the whole thing, and within just 3 days, 3-4 days, they've bounced back up and got full leaves on them. And I was worried they would turn into like a really fibrous, rooty root, really hard, and not have that beet quality to it.
Pulp.
It's worth having.
Yeah.
So, and they don't seem to. I've pulled a couple of them, and they seem to be in good shape. So
Good. Good. Yeah. I still have a little bit of weeding to do, but it was nothing like the first time I had to weed. We are just putting the whole tunnel together, just to support everything. The other idea behind that is if we needed a longer growing season, we can maybe pull some plastic over it. This is the tomatoes that we put in earlier, and some squash. These are volunteer squash. They are, they're also growing really well. Look at that. So we just kind of let them. They are doing just fine, and the tomatoes are nice and big, and the squash is nice and big. We also have peppers right through here, mostly jalapenos. Oh, I didn't think I had to weed, but I'm gonna have to weed over here. There's a few that are, these are the wild sunflowers. I might just pull them out, and so that way they're not competing with all of our plants. But there's a lot of jalapenos in here. Wanted to kind of go into a little bit more on why this garden's really important this year. one, it's our second year gardening up here on the mountain, and we are really seeing a huge success in plants. In fact, better than we expected. And then second is we've had some old-time farmers that gave us seed. I had this one farmer who is just really, really special, and he gave me a small little baggie, and it only had 5 corn seeds in it. And he said to me and goes, these are gonna grow 12 feet tall, and the corn just comes out where you can have corn nuts out of it. I mean, it's just so great. Anyways, and he's been in this valley for a really, really long time, and he took the time to separate his corn seed and give me some, and some to my colleagues, and it was just really special. I just remember coming home and I was feeling like it was probably the best gift I've ever gotten, and I don't know, it was very emotional for me. So I felt like it was really nice. And then we also had a subscriber and a viewer who, when we were doing the hogging out of the hillside, he actually emailed us personally and said, hey, how do you feel about if I send you some seed? And we weren't sure what we were gonna expect, right? Like,
yeah, we didn't know what he was saying.
Yeah, we weren't sure what he was gonna send us, but he goes, what did he say in the email? It was like generations, right? He's been collecting.
These were seeds that he'd used and had on his farm for years and years, and of the same strain and varieties, and he just wanted to share them with us and hope us the best and everything. It was really, really kind. And
it was just darling, and I'll wait until he is done hammering. And one of the things is we actually we got a whole box of seed from him. There was fava beans, beets, which I think we'll use for our next cessation crop, and then pumpkin seed. And then what else? Did he send us anything else? I think those are the 3.
Yeah, I think that was it.
Yeah. So it was the fact that somebody took the time to go to collect some seeds that they go, I think that'll be really nice in your area, and I think it'll be nice for your family. Go to the post office and take the time to send a seed. It was just really special. I think it was just really, really nice. So I think like our garden's a little bit more sentimental this year than I think it's been ever in our lifetime, just because people are giving us generations of their hard work that they put in years and years to perfect a specific plant. So I think that was a really, really sweet thing. So I think that's probably why we're kind of upset with the cows coming and tromping through. The losses that we've gotten from the cows, it actually hasn't been horrible, except the corn part. I think the corn was the most disappointing. But they didn't touch the 5 seeds.
Yep, those were protected down in, and they're doing great.
Good. That's the important part. That's the important part.
It's just sweet corn.
Yeah, the other we overplanted and it was sweet corn, but we planted the garden and here it is, and we're gonna harvest everything, and now we're building a tunnel for the cows. I'm just kidding. We hope to, our frontage fencing is actually done. That'll be our next video. Oh, is that hail? No, that's just you.
Just me.
That's just you. We're just waiting for a couple of parts on the tractor. The tractor has a fence post pounder, so we're gonna pound some T-posts, and then we'll finish the rest of the fencing to keep the cows out. The cows, it's not just about keeping them out of the garden. We're also wanting them not pooping on the roads, not pooping where we live, not pooping on the campsite. I have a big flower bed in the front. I'm trying to establish a green pasture in the frontage as well. But yeah, there's a lot of reasons to keep the cows out. So